In today's lecture, we are going to discuss the next topic of plant taxonomy, which is the principle of priority. We have already discussed that we have the International Code of Botanical Nomenclature, and under that, 6 principles have been listed. So, this is a second principle of International Code. It says that priority means now we are talking about the year of publication, that the name which has been published earlier, that should be the acceptable one. So the correct name is the earliest legitimate one validly published, except in case of limitation of priority by conservation. So we have an exception that, let's suppose by chance the species that became extinct, okay, so under those cases, the one which has been published later, that can be considered. It's just an exception for few cases, whereas otherwise the one which has been published in a valid form, the earliest such reference should be considered as the correct name. Now, why this has been done, why this principle was proposed, that was in order to avoid duplication and confusion. Because earlier there was no listing. I told you that quite late in that century, in the 19th century, the compilation in the form of floras, monographs, that started coming up. But before that, lot of data was generated and across the world, and when it was compiled, then it was observed that for same species, number of names have been given, number of names have been proposed. So then, in order to avoid confusion and there should not be any duplication of the species of the name of the individual, so that's why it was preferred that the one which has been published earlier, that should be accepted as the correct name, the only one name. Okay. Now, what is considered as the valid publication for a species and genus? The date considered was May 1753. Okay. That was the day when Linnaeus published Species Plantarum and Genera Plantarum. So that was considered as the authenticated one, and subsequent duplicate names, whatever they came up for a species, number of names because they were proposed, they were called synonyms or homonyms. Okay. So for example, if Linnaeus has called a species, let's suppose the name was given A, then later on, number of other scientists, they have given the name B, C, D to the same individual, to the same species. Okay. Then different name has been proposed. In that case, the one which has been proposed earlier, that will be considered as the valid name, the correct one, whereas all others, they will be considered as the synonyms or homonyms. The starting point for a family, okay, for genus and species it was 1753, whereas for family it was 1789, so that there is no duplication in the names of families as well, and that was according to the study that was referred in the book Genera Plantarum by D. Jussieu. So they were considered as the valid name of the family. So each family should have only one name, except we have an exception, and there are different families which have been considered under the two names. Okay. Now, before that, each family or a taxon of lower rank with particular circumscription, position and rank can bear only one correct name. So this is another definition of the second principle, that every taxon, it should have only one correct name. Now, what are the exceptions for the family names? We use the word, it should be P-A-L. We use the word palmy for family, whereas its other name as per the nomenclature proposed as the name of family should end with AC word, that is Ericaceae. But still the palmy is also accepted. So these are the exceptions for family names. For all other, we have only one correct name, but for these families there are two. For Gramineae, we use the new name Poaceae, but Gramineae is also correct. For Cruciferae, we use the word Brassicaceae. For Leguminosae, we use Fabaceae. You should know all these names. Guttiferae, this is called Clusiaceae. Then Umbelliferae, it's called Apiaceae. Labiatae is called Lamiaceae. Compositae, it is called Asteraceae. So these are the new names, as the name or the name should end with the suffix AC. So they have been proposed, but these original names, they are also considered valid. Now the principle is not applied to ranks above family. Okay, it is only applicable till family. Whatever rule it has been proposed, this is up till family. That is the validity of the name. For example, Linnaeus proposed a name Xyris. This is Xyris. He proposed a name Xyris in 1753 for this organism. Then later on, Studel proposed another name for the same plant, that it should be called Sysmaxo. Okay, but it was published later on. So the one which will be considered valid will be Xyris. Similarly, Mondo, that was a name given by Edinson in his book Family Plantarum 2 in 1763. This was called Mondo. Then it was given another name in 1807, Ophiopogon, by Karl Gall. Now it is a later year, right? So on the basis of principle of priority, which name is valid? Mondo. This you must have seen. This is a common grass species found, Mondo. Okay, that's all with the principal part. Now we are going to start with the taxonomic keys. Now before that, I'll be using word systematics as well. So you should know the basic difference of systematics and taxonomy. What is the difference? Systematic is a broader term. It is a broader term and it encompasses taxonomy. Okay, so taxonomy comes under systematics. How? What is systematics? Systematics is defined as the study of the kinds and diversity of organisms and the relationship amongst them. Means different kinds we are talking about, means classification. So we are assigning organisms their different categories, their taxons, and we are also observing the relationship amongst them. So then we call it systematics. So it deals with taxonomy. Taxonomy means assigning that organism to a taxon. So that is a taxonomy's job. Whereas when we are studying its relationships also, we are discussing how those species they are correlated. Then together these things will be counted under systematics. Now this is from a word systema. It's a Latin word and it was first of all used by Linnaeus in his book Systema Naturae. From there the word systematics it came into existence. Whereas what is taxonomy? This we have already done, that this is the theory and practice of describing, identifying, naming and classifying the organism. So you are going to describe, characterize a particular organism, you will identify that, you will give it a proper scientific nomenclature and will classify it to put it under different taxon. So that is taxonomy. And this much part along with the relationships is called systematics. Okay. So let's suppose I am talking about a organism A. I describe that organism. Means I mentioned all characters known to me related to morphology, anatomy, all. Okay, they were mentioned. That is the description part. Then I identified this organism, that okay, it looks like this. It may be a previous record, right? It may be a new species also. If it's a new species, I'll name that. There'll be nomenclature. And then I'll put it under a particular taxon. For example, I consider it that this is a member under Cruciferae. Fine. Now we have number of members under this family already. There are already reported B, C, D. So when I am studying the relationship of A with B, with C, with D, or interrelationships and so on, these relationships, how they are related, the members of a taxon, then I'll call it systematics. Okay, this you have already done. It is from the word taxis and nomos and it was proposed by Deakin-Dall. These are the Greek words. So now coming to the plant identification. How we identify plants. So when we are talking about plants, their identification, there are huge number of characters. So there are basically two approaches what should be used while identification. Two concepts we follow. One is a holistic approach and another is an analytical one. Holistic means whole. Means whatever information is there, all those characters are going to be considered. So the object is viewed or emphasized as a whole, okay, a complete structure. All those things are considered while identifying plant. Analytical character means you are using parts of an object only. For example, let's suppose when we are talking about a plant, if you are a taxonomist, if you are a good researcher in this field of taxonomy, taxonomist, okay, then what you will have an overall information about different members, different families. You will be having on your tips what should be the characters, and you can easily recognize, okay, this plant belongs to this family, right? But that is only if you have a complete information, if you have a good knowledge about the plant taxonomy. But let's suppose you are a newcomer, okay, you are just starting the research, and when let's suppose you go to the field, as we are all, we are not taxonomists, we don't have that much information about all groups of the plants. So we visited a field, we encountered a new plant there, we had no idea what is the name of this plant, it belongs to which family and all. So we started looking for very small characters. For example, I started looking for only the leaf arrangement. I can talk about leaf shape, leaf apex, leaf margins. So I am talking only about the characters related to leaf, right? I am talking about a segment only, a part of the organism. I am not taking into consideration the whole different, the outlook, whole morphology, all organs of the plant. No, I am not talking about that. I am only considerate about the leaf. What kind of leaf is there? And on the basis of that, I am trying to place that organism to a particular taxon, right? So on the basis of the little knowledge when I am trying to consider, I am narrowing down to only the leaf portion, and on that basis I am doing the classification part. So then it will be called the analytical approach. So what is a holistic approach? Holistic means you are going to consider complete information. Whereas what is an analytical approach means you are going to talk about, you are going to consider the characteristics of an organ only. Okay, so as a newcomer, definitely the one will choose for an analytical approach, and as an expert of this field, one will go for holistic approach. Okay, the identification of a plant to one among hundreds of thousands of possibilities. So we have number of possibilities, right? You know, millions of genera they are there. So you have to identify, you have to place that one organism amongst those millions of possibilities. So that definitely requires an initial narrowing down of the possibilities. So if you are having, let's suppose, 1000 characters of leaf enlisted, you should narrow down it to almost 10 characters so that it can help you identifying that species, right? So who does this thing? Who narrows down the characters? They are with the help of taxonomic keys. So they help you recognize, they help you place an organism at a particular taxon. So this is the most useful method, most commonly used method for identification, that is use of taxonomic keys. Now what is a taxonomic key? A key means what? Okay, a key, when we generally use this term, we say key which opens up the lock, that is called a key. Now here what is a key? We are not opening some kind of a lock. It's not a physical structure here. We are actually opening out the huge array of data available to us, and following the leads we are going to reach to our specific organism, right? So here we are going to find out that which key actually will open up our lock so that we are able to identify the organism. So they are called the keys, taxonomic keys. Now we are not having a single combination here. We are not saying as there is a lock, there should be one key for that. One lock, one key. No, it is not possible. Through this key, in case of taxonomic key, the difference is it is not a one-on-one combination. Rather here, we will have the set of statements. Okay. So you will have the set of statements which will ultimately help you narrowing down your options. I told you there are thousands of characters reported for leaf only. So how to reach towards your specimen? So that will be the narrowing down criteria. So that is a function of taxonomic key. So definitely it will help you to open up the lock to solve your issue, but it is not on one-on-one basis. So key is an identification device that consists of sequentially choosing among a list of possibilities. So it will provide you a sequence of the possibilities of the characters. Okay, that let's suppose we are talking about leaf is glabrous or leaf is glaucous, right? It is giving you options. Let's suppose the one plant for which you are studying the leaf is glaucous. Then it will tell you, okay, go to option number 3. The next option you will see. Then it will say whether it is having a unicause state venation or a multicause state venation. So see, always there are alternate statements, okay, and they should be the affirmative statements, means they should be the positive statement. It is not that the leaf has stipule, leaf does not have stipule. No, it should be a affirmative or a positive statement. Okay, so through that, ultimately following step by step in the sequence, you will reach to your species. So this is how it will ultimately narrow down all those possibilities to one. Okay, so this is the function of the key. Now, who proposed it? Who started it? So a little information about the history of taxonomic keys. It was very first proposed by Aristotle. You all know Aristotle, the father of biology. So he first of all gave only 2 criteria, that it is about the animals. So about animals he gave 2 categories, bloodless versus with blood. Okay, so bloodless versus with blood. So all animals, they should be categorized according to these 2 options. So that was the simplest key proposed, that okay, you can classify animals on this criteria. Okay, later on was in 1952, he gave his interesting history of the development of keys, that how the new keys they were proposed, which are the better one, which can be followed easily. Okay, and it is not that the key has to be starting from the plant kingdom. You are doing that. No, you can have key for only a single genus. You can have key for a family, for a class. Okay, this is your thing. You can propose key for any level of hierarchy. Any level of hierarchy. We discussed 7 levels. So for any taxon there can be a key. It not has to be for a species. So it can be for a genus, help in differentiating species of that particular genus, different species. It can be for a family, which help in identifying you different genera under that family, and so on. Okay. So later on, Metcalfe in 54, he provided few hints. Okay, that once you are constructing a key, you yourself can also propose a key. If I am having some clear-cut differentiation of different species of rose, for example, okay, I can propose a key. So, but while proposing a key, what things should be kept in mind? So those hints they were, while for constructing keys, the hints were provided by Metcalfe. So this is a brief history about the taxonomic keys. Now, proper use of keys. Okay, whenever, let's suppose from a flora, you obtained a key for the family Solanaceae. Okay, now how will you apply that key to your specimen? You know that it belongs to Solanaceae, but you don't know it is which genus or species. Now, how will you apply that? So, you should keep some things in your mind, that and they have to be properly followed. Otherwise, you will not be able to reach to your own particular species. So, they are to be followed. Now, what are those rules? What should be used? First is, you should select appropriate key. Okay, this is not that okay, you are looking for a particular species of Solanum. Let's suppose you have number of species under Solanum and you are trying to look it under Liliaceae. No, it's not possible now. It won't give you any idea, any conclusion. You will not reach any particular conclusion if you are doing this. Similarly, let's suppose you are talking about some kind of the tribe characters. They may be related to the ecotypes or something you are trying to look for. So then in that case, you are following some family key. That is not going to help you. Okay, let's suppose you are talking about family or Solanaceae. You are referring that key, but you are trying to look for information related to the ecotypes. It's a very, very narrow term. So you should look for a key for Solanum and not for the family. So this is important, that what appropriate key you are referring to. And from where you get those keys? You get it from floras. Floras, they are generally referred to the native vegetation the vegetation of a particular place, when that is recorded in the form of a book, that is called a flora. It may be for the native, it may be for the cultivated one also, though for the cultivated it is a difficult one because they may be introduced species, so maintaining their record is a difficult, tedious task. For native flora it's quite easy. Then you have manuals. Manuals means when you are having information about different species, okay, collective information. It is not, I'm not talking about a particular area. You are just having the information about species, a compilation, then it will be called a manual. Then you have handbooks and monographs. So monographs, monos typically means when you are referring to a single species. You are giving the description of that species, so that will be a monograph. So you can refer from these things a particular appropriate key. So you have to select that first. Then introductory comments to be read properly. This is very, very important. Whatever information is being provided by the author of that key, you should read those comments properly. Then both leads should be read. Now what is a lead? We will discuss it under dichotomous. I told you, let's suppose we are talking about the flower. In a particular genus, you are having flower either pink or second option you provide is red. Okay, then you provide, let's suppose you are seeing that your flower is pink, then I'll say go to the option 2. If it is red, then I'll say go to the option 3. So this is the first option, flower. Then the second option is leaves. So I am saying the leaves, they are glaucous, they are glabrous. Okay, so I am saying if it is pink, then either I told you it go to 2. So then you will check whether the leaves are glaucous or glabrous. Means every time when you are proposing a character, you are making two alternate statements, right? So this two alternate statement, this is called a couplet. It's in couple, so it's a couplet, and this each statement, it is called a lead. Okay, so both leads, they should be read properly. This is just I am giving a single word, it may be a complete sentence also. So you should read that properly. Sometimes you may think that, okay, that this statement is correct, this applies to your specimen, but when you read the second one, that seems more appropriate. Okay, so that's why it is very important that you read both the options. Then the meaning of unknown terms. See, when you are referring to a key and you are not aware about any term used there, if I am saying glaucous, you should know what is glaucous, only then you will be able to match that particular character from the specimen. If you don't know what is the meaning of glaucous, how will you see that whether it is present in your specimen or not? So it is important that you should know the meaning of unknown terms and you can refer them from a botanical glossary. Then results should be verified. Okay, once you reach to a conclusion that okay, through this key you reach to the that this is a species, from this key you are identifying, then you should further authenticate that from a herbarium specimen. So once you have reached to the conclusion that okay, let's suppose the species you identified is Solanum nigrum. Okay, we discussed this in practicals. So this is from the key you identified. Then you will go to the herbarium, you will take out the sheet which is saying that the specimen is Solanum nigrum, and then you will tally that it should match, right? That is a further authentication of your genus or species. Now, how we construct the keys, how they are constructed. So I told you that few observations they were already made. The information was given by Metcalfe in order to have a good key. What points should be considered? What hints should be considered? So while proposing a key, first is it should always use constant characters. Now what do you mean by constant characters here and not variables? What? Means you should have the characters which are present throughout the year. Throughout year. Those should be the criteria. It should not be any kind of the seasonal character. Okay, you should keep in mind that whenever proposing a key, choose the characters which are present throughout the year so that anybody can refer them on any particular month, in any particular month or the day. Then never use terms such as large, small. If I am saying the leaves or the flowers, they are large, they are small, it makes no sense at all. There should be a correct measurement of that. If I am saying, I should not say large, I should say the leaves of the range 5 to 7 centimeter. If I am saying small, I should say the leaves of the range 1 to 2 centimeters. So a proper range should be assigned. It cannot be exact. You can say 5. You can never say 5 centimeter. It will be a range, right? So it should be in the term of the numbers, not in the terms of the simple these adjectives that okay, large leaves, small leaves. No, they should not be abstract terms. They should be exact measurement ranges. Then character always available are to be used rather than seasonal characters. I told you, okay, this is the same thing, that you should use constant characters and not the variables one. It's same one. Then always use positive terms. You should always make the statements which are affirmative, positive. Like if you are saying stipule is present, that can be used. It is an affirmative statement. But you cannot say stipule is not present. It becomes a negative statement. Right? So you can say stipule is present. This is correct. You should try to make all the statements the affirmative one. Okay? Now, as far as possible, both choices of the pair, they should be starting with the same word. So if I am saying seeds present, let's suppose my character is seeds present and the two options under there, they are seeds round, seeds oblong. So they are starting with the same word. And similarly, for the different, for which the choices are being provided, the character one, the character should also start with the same word, but the options under that, they should be different. Like I'm saying flowers white. Okay. So the option under that for which I am going now, okay, my species in the plant is having white flowers. So then I'll look for sepals free, sepals fused. So the immediate use that should not be of the same words, that should be avoided. Okay. So always when you are using different characters, the different pairs of choices, they should start with different words. I'll give you another example. We will follow a key for that. So this topic we'll discuss next time, the type of taxonomy keys. I'll just give you a reference of the key that we are going to discuss. Now see, here the first word is same, right? It is not wrong. You can have it, but you should make an effort to have it a different word. It should not match with the main character. You should try, okay? But it is not compulsory. So here it is different. When I am talking about the rose pink flowers, then I am providing two options. Then you go for calyx. You check calyx is 3 to 5 centimeter or 1 to 2 mm, 1 to 2 mm range. Then you look for the leaf surface, whether the undersurface of the leaf is brown or it is glabrous. So on that basis, you will reach to the species. So this is a key. See, this is a key only help in identifying the species of this genus, Rhododendron. Means you can have very small keys just to differentiate species of a genus, or you can have very large keys to differentiate different classes of a particular group. Right? So that depends on you, what you want to propose. Okay, so about the details of different types of keys, that we'll discuss next time. So that's all for today.